Who's up for a deck request video? Well, I know I am, so let's go and do this. This is a deck request made by MrMLGYugioh, who asked me to make a competitive Yusei deck using Majestic Star Dragon. So, the whole idea behind what I mean by competitive Yusei deck is it's a deck with mostly cards used by Yusei, supported by some other cards that just make it a lot more competitive and able to, well, play against the meta really well. Such kind of things. And here I do start with Doppel Warrior and Junk Synchron, get tuning to get quick draw. Was hoping to mill a level 2 or below like Rico or Level Leader, and then summon Junk Synchron, summon that, Doppel Warrior into it. Decide not to. I decide to instead just play Skull of the Haunted and Compulsory Evacuation Device down on the field, and then await his move. Would I not draw into another monster, I could always just send Doppel Warrior to the graveyard, summon Quick Draw Synchron, and then use Junk Synchron to get Doppel Warrior back, and then sync with Doppel Warrior and then get 2 tokens. Now also, in this deck request, since the part of the request was that the deck has to hold Majestic Star Dragon, so I have to be able to summon it, so obviously I also have Majestic Dragon. And then, unlike, I remember a couple of deck requests ago, 3 deck requests ago, no, 2 actually, it was a number 22 Zombie Stein deck request. In that deck request, I didn't actually summon Zombie Stein in the duel. And I'm like, come on, if that is the deck request, then you have to actually summon the monster. Like, I didn't summon the monster, I did use the deck and it worked really well, but if the deck request, or at least part of the deck request, is to have a certain monster, and it's just one monster, then summon the monster. If you have to have like 6, 7 monsters in the deck, then then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to show that on the deck profile, and then I'm going to summon all 7, because that might be really difficult. But yeah, I will be summoning Majestic Star Dragon in this duel. Now, I decided to go over Tech Genius Hyper Librarian because I know that Synchro Summons will follow later on, so that way I can get a couple of draws in and hopefully get to Majestic Dragon. Now, I decided to go for Drill Warrior and leave 1 token because I can use Call of the Haunts to get my Junk Synchron, sync with Librarian to get to level 8, Stardust Dragon, and then the token plus Majestic Dragon equals level 10 equals Majestic Star Dragon. So, I go for Drill Warrior. I could have also gone for Junk Gardener now that I think about it, and then place his monster in attack position, but I didn't think of that at the time, so Drill Warrior it is. He uses a hero emerges to now summon a monster, which is kind of weird, but okay, whatever he wishes to do. Summons Elements of Hero Flash, and I'm like, okay, replay. Gonna attack Flash instead, deal some damage. Just in case his face down is like, I don't know, Snowman Eater or whatever, and then he'd destroy Librarian, although then why would he use a hero emerges now? I really don't have a clue, because this way I can just still attack twice, and I don't see really how he gains an advantage from that, but although, yeah, now that I think about it, 60 card deck, and I seem to remember from his rating and EXP that both aren't too high yet, so I'm not going to blame him for that, probably not that experienced in dueling just yet. But back to my field, I have my field pretty much set up for Majestic Star Dragon next turn. Call of the Haunted to get Junk Synchron back, sync with Librarian for Stardust. The token is a level 1, Majestic Dragon is level 1. I did forget next turn, like, what level is token again? Because I was certain it was level 1 and it had to be lower than Doppel Warrior, and Doppel Warrior was 2. So I did check in the graveyard at the time. It was indeed level 1. So, level 8, level 1, level 1. Majestic Star Dragon, and then I had Drill Warrior left on the field because he's not actually going to destroy Drill Warrior. And then, whatever monster he'd summon and he might want to do something with, I still have Compulsory Evacuation Device to send it back to the hand or to the extra deck. And just because I have everything set for Majestic Star Dragon next turn, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go all out, Mirror Force, I'm going to take the risk that he has Heavy Storm, because, you know, I'm just going to do it. I didn't really think too much, I just wanted to do it, hope that he wouldn't have Heavy Storm, and then just, bam, Majestic Star Dragon out there. because in a moment, like in the duel, like at the start of my turn, I'll be doing some calculations, like just before my turn starts. Majestic Star Dragon at 3,800 attack, plus the 2,400 from Drill Warrior equals 6,200 attack power. If both of those are direct attacks, then the opponent would have 100 life points remaining. I can use Compulsory Evacuation Device to get rid of his monster. That would mean both can be direct attacks, but then I would need at least 100 more damage to actually finish him off that turn. I can do that with Quick Draw Synchron. It has 700 attack, but to summon it, I cannot use a tribute because for one, that would cost me a lot of attack power, and second, Majestic Dragon is already my normal summon. So if I draw into any monster, then I can discard that or send it to the graveyard. I can't remember what the exact text is on Quick Draw, but I do get a monster. I get a final Quick Draw actually. So as a shout out, finally turn. Normally you do that before you draw, but I wasn't certain yet. I needed to draw a monster to be sure it was final turn. But I draw a monster, get rid of his monster with Compulsory Evacuation Device, call on the Haunted, back to Junk Synchron, tune it with Tech Genius Hyper Librarian, the level 5, go into Stardust Dragon, and then I activate my Signer powers because I'm like the 7th Signer and stuff. Signer power go, Seivā Dragon, and then I tune it. Level 1, Seivā Dragon. Level 1, Stardust Dragon. Or, no, they do the order different, don't they? They do the tuner monster last. Whatever. Seivā Sutā Doragon! And then Quick Draw Synchron, and then like direct attack 3 times per game, and like, bye-bye, I win. Thank you for the duel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Time for the deck profile. Welcome to the deck profile of the Majestic Yusei deck, the competitive Yusei deck using Majestic Star Dragon. Let's jump right into it and not make it that long of a deck profile like the Rank of Magic Fairies became. I kinda discussed too much in there, and then I even went offline for inactivity. Right. Also, I'm going to sneeze in a moment. I can feel it coming. Having a cold is annoying. 2 times Doppel Warrior. There's multiple monsters in this deck that have effects that allow monsters to be summoned from the graveyard. Junk Synchron, Level Leader, Synchron Explorer, and Cobalt Hedgehog. I told you what would happen. Yeah. When a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, you can special summon Doppel Warrior from your hand, and then if you use Doppel Warrior as a synchro material and it sends a graveyard for that, you can special summon 2 Doppel tokens in attack position. The important word here is if, since it's because if it would have been a when you can effect, it would be able to miss timing, and it's sent to the graveyard as a synchro material before the synchro monster is summoned. So then, if it would have been a when you can effect, the effect would never be able to work because it would always miss timing, because the synchro summon happens after the monster is sent to grave. Well, since the if you can effect, it doesn't miss timing. 2 effect failure, 1 to negate effects, and 2 to be a level 1 tuner. Kinda helpful at times for Formula Synchron, for example. 3 Junk Synchrons, because it's just a really good card. It's one of my favorite tuners. It's been like that ever since Synchros first started. Is able to, when normal summon, special summon level 2 or below monster from your graveyard in defense position, and that monster's effects are negated, so that can be Level Leader, Cobalt, Rico, Tuning Wearer, and Synchron Explorer, and then Synchro for level 4, level 5, or if you have other monsters, Sync for level 6, 7, whatever you have on the field. Level Leader is just a level 1, and just attack and defense power. It's not very strong. But, and now the cold is really starting to... Anyway, I shouldn't get distracted. Level Leader, when it's in the graveyard, you can target 1 face-up level 5 or higher monster you control. So that will be Quick Draw Synchron, or any of my extra deck monsters, not counting Formula Synchron. You can lower the level by 1 and then just special summon Level Leader from the grave. This is especially helpful in the shooting Quasar Dragon combo, because you do have Quasar in this deck. You need Level Eater, Synchron Explorer, Quick Draw Synchron for that. I'm not going to go into the combo, but just search a shooting Quasar Dragon combo. You'll find multiple ways to summon it in one turn. In this deck, the main combo to summon Quasar is Quick Draw, Level Eater, and Explorer in your hand. Although, if you have Level Eater already in the graveyard, then you can have any monster next to Explorer and Quick Draw Synchron in your hand to discard for Quick Draw. And then Unknown Synchron needs to be in the deck. And then you also need a Junk Warrior, and a Road Warrior, and a Formula Synchron. And then obviously Quasar. Quick Draw Synchron, level 5 Synchro, Tuner. You can special summon it by discarding a monster from your hand, or sending a monster from hand to graveyard. So that is an important wording if you're playing like against Macrocosmos. And you cannot use it for any Synchro Summon, you cannot use it for Stardust, because the effect states that it has to be used for a Synchro monster who requires a Synchron Tuner monster. So that would be Junk Warrior, Junk Drill Warrior, Junk Archer, Nitro Warrior, Junk Berserker, or Road Warrior. And then there's also Junk Berserker and one more, I can't think of the name. There's others that he can be used for, but he can substitute himself for those monsters. You can use him as Nitro Synchron, or as Junk Synchron, or as Drill Synchron. It'll still be a level 5 tuner, and you can use it as any of those, so it's very helpful for that. Quillbolt Hedgehog, if you have a face-up tuner monster on the field, and you'll have that quite often with Junk Synchron, Quick Draw, and sometimes Failure, you can special summon it from the graveyard through its own effects, but if you do, you do banish it after it leaves the field. Rico Lightsworn Hunter, I have one copy of this in the deck to destroy things, and that is already helpful. And then the fact that it mills some cards is also very helpful, because a good amount of cards in this deck want certain cards in the grave. Like Doppel Warrior wouldn't mind if there's a Level Eater in the grave for Junk Synchron to summon so it can activate its own effect. Quillbolt wouldn't mind being in the graveyard. Synchro Explorer wouldn't mind a Junk Synchron or a Quick Draw Synchron being in the graveyard. Level Eater likes being in the graveyard so it can use its effect. So that's what I have Rico for. Tuning Wear as one level 1 monster, and if you use it as a Synchro material, you can actually treat it as a level 2, so as 1 or 2. Depends on what you would like to summon. And if it's a Sensor Grave for a Synchro Summon, you draw 1 card, so that's +1, which is always nice. Synchron Explorer to get Junk Synchron or Quick Draw Synchron out. Technically, it can also summon Unknown Synchron from the grave, but I never do that. It's Junk Synchron or Quick Draw, and then usually tune him with that for a level 5 or level 7, and then attack and stuff. Unknown Synchron really only in there for the Quasar combo, not really much else. And if you can't do the Quasar combo because you draw it, I usually discard it for Quick Draw Synchron. Darkhold to destroy self-staple. Foolish Burial, because there's as I explained with Rico, a good amount of cards that would like to be in the graveyard. Foolish Burial can send one of those there. Heavy Storm is a staple. Mind Control to take control of an opponent's monster. That monster cannot attack or be tributed, but it can be used as synchro material. So I just take their big monster, let's say Ally of Justice Catastor, or Legendary 6 Samurai Shien, after I've already used another spell. Take it, Junk Synchron, Synchro to Stardust. Their monster is gone and I have a Stardust. Ha! Monster Reborn as a staple, bring back any monster. It can bring back any of my tutors, but also if I would only have Junk Synchron in the field and I really want to summon Junk Destroyer to destroy a lot of stuff, but the only other monster I have on the field is Level Eater, then I can use Monster Reborn to summon their level 4 monster from the grave, because I don't really have any level 4s in my grave, because I don't actually run any level 4s in this deck. MSD, 1 copy to get rid of spells and traps. 1 for 1 helps with getting out level 1 monsters. Level Eater is usually the one discarded. And it also helps with summoning Majestic Dragon if you do not draw it, because I only run 1 copy in this deck. Reinforcement of the army to add a warrior. The warriors in this deck are Junk Synchron and not actually Quick Draw, but Doppel Warrior is also a warrior. So I can add that. Tuning to add a Synchron tutor to the hand. So quick draw junk. Once again, never use unknown Synchron because its only real purpose in this deck is to be part of the Quasar combo. And then you mill one card, which can be useful as I explained earlier. 3 Call on the Haunted to bring back monsters from the graveyard, from your own, to use it for Synchro Summons for a lot of different things. Helps with getting combos off, and it actually helped in this duel to get Majestic Star Dragon out, which I'm very happy about. Compulse to get rid of opponent's monsters. Biggest help against like Zen mains or Gachi, because those cannot negate or at least save themselves from Compulse. Venus Chain to stop monsters from attacking and negate their effects, very helpful. A Mirror Force to just big obliteration. A Solemn Judgment to negate spells and traps and summons. Because I don't actually run Warning, more Solemn Judgment because I want to be able to stop any trap. Because this deck is about swarming the field quickly and getting combos off, and you don't want those combos to be stopped. So Solemn Judgment to pretty much stop anything that would stop you. 1 Starlight Road, because I do depend quite a bit on my back row. And it can get Stardust Dragon out, although then I will not be able to summon it back later through its own effect or through Star Dragon's effect, but, you know, Starlight Road is nice to be there. And then Majestic Star Dragon to summon Majestic Star, obviously. Extra deck, Formula Synchron. Synchro Tuner helps to get an extra draw, helps to get Shooting Star Dragon out, but mostly it's used for shooting Quasar. Catastar, just because it's a good level 5. 2 Junk Warrior, 1 because I can make it with Junk Synchron and any other level 2, and 2 because Junk Warrior is necessary as for the Quasar combo that I just explained, because it's the only level 5 Synchro monster that requires a Synchro tutor that I can summon with Quick Draw. So that's why I have it in there. 1 Hyper Librarian, just because it has 2400 attack, which is good for level 5 Synchro, and it can get you extra draws whenever you Synchro Summon. And I Synchro Summon a lot, so I usually get pluses off of this one. Jungarna has level 6. Because, it can change opponents' and monsters' battle positions. It can totally screw over the opponent's strategy, which is very helpful. I don't use it too often, but it can totally win you games. A Drill Warrior as another option to a level 6 Synchro that I can go with Quick Draw. Don't use Drill Warrior that often. It has quite some difficult rulings, but I've never actually gotten into any situations where that would be necessary to really explain, which I'm happy about. Like, I'm an admin. I'm happy to explain things. I became an admin for a reason, but not getting into such situations in your own duels, well, I don't mind that. Junk Archer and Nitro Warrior as the level 7 Synchro possibilities for Quick Draw. Both have their own advantages. Stardust Dragon as the monster for Majestic Star and Starlight Road, and it can stop like spell traps, monster effects that can destroy stuff. Junk Berserker, Junk Destroyer, because it can just destroy a lot. It's often that when I use Junk Synchron, I'll use 2 other materials to get Junk Destroyer out, so I can destroy at least 2 cards, which is very helpful. Road Warrior is in there as part of the Quasar combo. Shooting Star, don't summon it too often, but I can summon it with Stardust and then Formula Synchron, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and with Majestic Dragon, 10 tutors in my deck, so I have a decent chance to get some extra attacks for Shooting Star Dragon. Majestic Star Dragon, the star of the deck, although star of the deck, you don't really summon it very often, but it does have some devastating effects. It's just difficult to summon. I'll read it out since it's the main card of this deck request anyway. You need Majestic Dragon, this guy, Stardust Dragon, this guy, and then any level 1 non-tutor. Or, well, 1 non-tutor. You could, like, if you would somehow, if you'd have, like, Majestic Dragon, and then, Stardust, and then you'd, like, use Level Eater on Stardust, then Stardust would be level 7, and then you could use, like, Quibbled Hedgehog as the 3rd material, would you want to. But anyway, you could tribute this card to negate the activation of an opponent's spell, trap, or effect monster's effect. Any effect monster's effect or spell card or trap card. So Call of the Hunted, Compulse, Venus Chain, Bottomless Trap Hole, Starlight Road, anything, even like Charge of the Light Brigade, you can tribute Majestic Star Dragon and destroy everything the opponent controls. So field spells, traps, spells, monsters, set monsters, attack monsters, everything. That can be very devastating. I remember like 2 years ago I saw someone with a deck that had a combo that could either keep Majestic Star Dragon on the field or summon it back from the grave in some weird combos. I cannot remember it exactly, but it was a great combo because he could just keep on reusing the effect of Majestic Star Dragon to keep on obliterating the opponent and just totally win with that. I wonder if that combo, that deck would actually still work in the current meta game, but I really liked it. Also, during your own turn, once per turn, you can negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls until the end phase, stopping them from using their effects. And if one of the negated effects can be activated, you can activate it once as this card's effect, so as if Majestic Star Dragon would actually have that effect. So let's say you would have... Let's see, what is a monster with an ignition effect? I can't actually come up with one. There's so many cards that have that. Guys, come up with one. Junk Gardener? Yeah, Junk Gardener has an ignition effect. You can activate it. Like, change battle position. So Majestic Star Dragon would be able to copy that. And then during the end phase, Majestic Star Dragon does automatically return to the extra deck and you special summon Stardust from the graveyard. Assuming you use Stardust, which you have to. But remember, if you summon Stardust via Starlight Road, you do not actually get it back. And in the combo, like the deck that I saw a couple of years ago, Majestic Star Dragon was returned Stardust on the field, and then just bring back a Majestic Dragon like through Call of the Haunted, a Monster Reborn, and then one other level 1, and you just get it again. And then Shooting Quasar, you guys should know this card, it's just really good. It just can't stop super polymerization. In my Elemental Hero deck, I've faced multiple Quasar decks, and like, I don't know if it's like fate or something, no, I don't really believe in that, but like, I guess coincidence, but I faced multiple Quasars and I'm like, you cannot chain to super polymerization. Bye bye Quasar, I get the shining. Ha! And that's pretty funny. So, in my side deck, which I haven't actually looked at in quite some time, besides for Duel, I believe it was 86 and 87, and then this Duel, I haven't actually used this deck in quite some time, so I haven't really looked at updated the side deck on anything, so I'd probably change it. But a couple of months back, I decided on 2 DD Crow, 1 Dandelion because it gets tokens out and it's a handy level 3, 1 more Effect Veiler, a Pot of Avarice to return monsters to the deck and draw, 2 Chain Disappearance. This must have been during the March 2012 format, because then Chain Disappearance was like against Rabbit, against Insectors. Like, those were 2 of the main threats. So, probably this was still March 2012 when I made this side deck. 2 more Finishing, because it's just helpful. Imperial Iron Wall, because I like my monsters to be in the graveyard and not to be banished. So, this stops Microcosmos. Lightning Imprisoning Mirror to stop opponents' light monsters' effects. Most of mine are dark. Only Rico and Effect Vader will be stopped. Does it? No, actually only Rico. And Tootingware, because Effect Vader activates at the end. And then 2 Torrential to just destroy monsters. Alright guys, that was the deck profile for the competitive Yusei deck with Majestic Star Dragon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. MrMLGYugioh, this was your deck request. I hope you were very satisfied with this deck and how it worked out. Next up, the next deck request is by user LSGMO, who wanted a pure Search Exodia deck. So, what he pretty much meant was no cards that draw. So, no Shard of Greed, no Reckless Greed, no Jar of Greed, no Legacy of Yatagarasu. It's like Gold Sarcophagus, Emissary of the Afterlife, those kind of cards. And Sangan. I originally had Sangan in the deck, but now I have to remove it. I haven't actually finished the deck yet, but I'll work on it and go for a pure Search Exodia deck. Right guys, this was Alka193. See you later.